India's women's team has done it, winning the ODI World Cup and rewriting cricket history. This victory isn't just sporting triumph. It's a statement that women's cricket in India is no longer the undercard, but the main event. From packed stadiums to record-breaking viewership, the narrative has flipped. Fans tuning out of the men's T20 and tuning in to watch Harmanpreet Kaur, Smriti Mandhana, Shafali Verma and Jemimah Rodrigues dominate the global stage. But as the applause fades, tougher questions emerge. Is this momentum enough to change the business of cricket? Sponsorship, pay parity and visibility, or will this success be celebrated and then forgotten like we've seen in the past? Joining us to unpack what's next for women's cricket, the man steering commercial side of Indian sports, Divyanshu Singh, CEO of JSW Sports, is joining us today, a company managing some of the biggest names in Indian cricket and beyond. Divyanshu, let me begin this conversation by congratulating you. We saw, your excitement in a few articles where you've already spoken. But tell us how did you feel and what was your first response when you saw the Indian women's cricket team lift the ODI World Cup?
I think the hope is that this is a watershed moment. Enough people have spoken about this, that what the 1983 Cricket World Cup meant for the men's in terms of turning around the entire sport and its impact on society and culture. I think that is the hope, expectation and aspirations that we all have from the moment that transpired.
And how does JSW Sport plan to capitalize on this momentum to build, so to speak, a sustainable, commercial value for women's cricket and female cricketers going forward?
Yeah, and I think we've also had a lot of learnings in the past, because I think the similar kind of hype, and I'll just draw a comparison and an analogy, also happens when it comes to Olympic sports, which happens once in 4 years. Historic moments happen, brands, suddenly everyone's talking about it, whoever are the new heroes. And then you say that that buzz kind of dies down, right? So that's been a learning, and hence for us, for these athletes, it is very, very important that how we sustain this movement, right? Which means that building the brands of these athletes becomes very, very important. Sure. How we get their voice out is very, very important. Luckily, the media has played a very, very big role this time. Like the newspapers, the social media platforms have all been, I think, full of the stories that they all are coming from. Son of a carpenter, the kind of struggles that they've gone through. And I think brands will now start realizing that I think this is a huge, huge opportunity. It's like a cultural defining moment. Yeah. That everyone would want to be a part of.
No, absolutely. And as you said, some of the players like Jemimah Rodrigues, like Harmanpreet Kaur, like Shafali Verma, they are the heroes. But what role are you going to play forward to ensure that they become sustainable brands themselves? Like, how do they build their own equity? How do they, be better spokespeople for some of the brands that they associate themselves with?
Right. So there's a lot of work that happens here behind the scenes. First is that athletes have to be treated like humans, and each have a different and distinct personalities. Someone like a Jemmy is a social media sensation, right? Yeah. She has actually broken stigma by going and talking about anxiety, mental health, and I would say how many Indian athletes have had that kind of courage to talk about these issues, right? So amazing, but equally, we have to work in ensuring that how we build their personalities, what are the kind of attributes we want to bring down. We also spend a lot of effort towards media training, towards personality training, towards also grooming them in the right way so that they become as marketable, and we believe that they deserve as much as the World Cup winning men's team did, and there's no reason to believe that they should be any lesser, which means the effort needs to be built in ensuring that their brands are very, very sustainable. Also, I think thanks to platforms like the WPL, these athletes are also now visible and seen a lot more. Sure. So that makes a huge, huge difference, because our learning in India has been jo dikhta hai wo bikta hai, and I think that's something which has happened for cricket, and the more and more it starts happening for other sports, women's cricket, you'll see that the commercial value will definitely be unlocked.
And it's been only a couple of years since WPL was introduced to us. After this World Cup win, WPL coming up in like a couple of months, early 2026, what is the change that you expect this year?
Yeah. the first thing that we need to see, all of us, is that we need to get more women to start watching women's cricket. Today, the reality is that even the WPL viewership, while it's significant at about 170 million, it's dominated by men, right? So moments like these, I think, will change. On Sunday night was the first time ever that my wife saw a women's cricket game, right? And fully, and we all were cheering. So I think that would be first big change that will happen now. That as we can start getting more women to start following, watching our women stars, I think would be a good step.
You said that the World Cup win will transform women's cricket going forward. If you can also share with us, what will be some of the measurable indicators? Is it salary? Is it media rights? Is it, the grassroots pipeline coming into women's cricket? You spoke about viewership already, like more women watching cricket. What will be the measurable indicators that, your organization will be tracking to see this transformation has indeed happened?
Yeah, so you've already covered on viewership, but I'm just sharing some of the things that I think have happened over the last week and what we forecast as well. Jemimah Rodrigues had like 100% jump in a social media fan following, had to happen after that knock against Australia. Same happened with Shafali as well for her match-winning knock against Australia in the finals as well, right? Besides viewership, and I think right now what you'll see is that the laurels will come. Media coverage will come. That's something which is very, very important for women's sport because they do not get enough coverage. And as they start getting more and more coverage, what happens is that the resonance and the relevance of these personalities in the ecosystem grows. And once that starts happening, then you'll see brands, sponsors, media, everyone seeing relevance in that. Another big challenge with women's cricket so far has been that they have not got enough competitions. That problem is now getting solved. All in all, this will create an environment where I think the next generation, parents will be not so hesitant when women come up and say, we want to play sport. And everyone wanting to play sport doesn't need to become a professional. But today, close to 40% of Indian women don't get enough physical activity. And I think we as a society also have a lot of things to fix, from infrastructure to access to sport to having coaches who can cater to women as well. So I think that's how the entire ecosystem will grow, and the responsibility is equally on everyone. But we've got that pivot start, we've got that head start that we really need to now capitalize on.
And what about pay parity? Like, when do we attain that? Women's cricket versus men's cricket. The pay difference is huge.
Yes, it is.
So when do we attain that? How much longer will it take?
It's the same question that I pose in front of brand managers or the marketing heads when they feel that the women cricketer doesn't deserve the same fee that a men's World Cup winning champion would do, right? I think that's a level playing question. And do they deserve it? Yes. But a lot of these ends up being a result of the commercial model, right? Like what kind of revenue is being generated, what kind of commercial value is being generated. So I think let's not look at it only from an idealistic perspective, because I think there some good strides have been made. The kind of parity that BCCI has tried to bring in terms of their player contracts, etc. Now, from the commercial perspective, right, whether it comes to brands paying to these athletes for what they deserve, and I think that fillip will now start happening.
Many still treat, women's cricket as, so to speak, a feel-good story. So as someone who manages many of these athletes, how do you address skeptics and sponsors who see this, as a temporary trend and beyond the feel-good story as a serious sport?
I think the conversation needs to start changing, as you're rightly saying, from support to also building a platform that provides value to all stakeholders. That's very, very important. And while women's sport is still, I think it has reached a juncture now where it is at a tipping point. From here, I think as we start providing value to the ecosystem, I think the conversation will not be about come support women's cricket. People who don't come and ride this wave would be left behind. There have been brands like JSW, Puma and others who've been supporting women's sport for a very, very long time. And now is the time that they're reaping the rewards of it because there has been consistency. What also needs to change is that a lot of the women-centric categories in India, so per se do not look at women's sport personality as an aspirational figure. Like I'll give you an example that a lot of the sport apparel brands in India would still prefer associating with entertainment personalities and not women.
Bollywood celebrities.
Bollywood celebrities, right? Even the sponsors of, say, properties such as the WPL are dominated by male-centric categories. Like you don't have sponsors from categories of women's grooming, personal care, etc. still coming. So that's a change that needs to start happening. It exists in advanced and matured sport economies. Like if you just have a look at the US, you'll realize that women athletes are cultural icons. Now that's a change that has happened from Sunday, where Harmanpreet, Shafali, Jemimah, now they'll be looked at in a very, very different light.
Thank you so much, Divyanshu. Thanks for joining us today and this wonderful conversation.
Thank you. Pleasure's mine.
Time for a short break. On the other side, we are joined in by Akshay Jatia, CEO of Westlife Foodworld, which is the operator for McDonald's India, West and South, on the Padel Court for a very interesting conversation. Welcome back on a Padel Court with Akshay Jatia, CEO of Westlife Foodworld, which is the operator of McDonald's India, West and South. We are exploring the brand's dynamic partnership with the Indian Padel Academy and how Akshay's personal love for sports mirrors McDonald's India's role as cultural and community enabler. In this conversation, he shares how McDonald's India is driving its vision for the next few years, focusing on health-forward menu innovation, digital growth, rapid network expansion, and 20-minute delivery ambitions, even as Westlife Foodworld has delivered a significant Q2 profit turnaround amidst challenging demand. Listen in. McDonald's is getting fit. From millet buns to Padel Court, the golden arches are redefining fast food in India with mindful eating, healthy living, and also India-first innovation playbook. To tell us more, we are joined in by Akshay Jatia, CEO, Westlife Foodworld. Welcome to CNBC TV 18.
Thank you so much for having me. Very excited to be here today and talk more about our plans.
Yes, and since we are meeting on the Padel Court, let me just begin this conversation by asking you, you've associated with Padel as a sport. Tell us more about this association and how did it come about?
Our entire endeavor as a brand in the country is to provide wholesome, nutritious options to all our customers and be more accessible and make those options more accessible. So whether it's the millet bun or the protein slice, things which are deemed to be more expensive, our entire endeavor has been to provide them at scale and make it more accessible at a very good price. And similarly with this association, the entire intent is to grow the sport in the country. And I think McDonald's as a brand has done this successfully many times over the world, whether it's with football, whether it's with tennis. But I think, Padel is a unique opportunity. I think it's a very fast growing sport. It's something that I've recently picked up, at the beginning of the year, and I've found it very enjoyable.
Yeah.
It adds very well to my routine and is sustainable.
Sure.
And also very social. So again, it brings communities together, which is again another, ethos that McDonald's stands for.
Yeah. And I can see McDonald's logos right here at the Padel Court. And you just mentioned that you started playing Padel at the start of the year. And just this week, in fact, government recognized your efforts of introducing millet buns in the country. So what is your reaction to that? And this is also an India innovation. So how have, some of the, global, how has global responded to that? And, what was the reception for the millet buns so far?
So, we're very happy to see that the government has also recognized the effort, because the entire intent and where it started from was, our entire Prime Minister's speech last year or 2 years ago, around how multigrains are superfoods and are actually a big part of our culture since day one. And the West is talking about it as it's something new. But from an Indian context and Indian cultural point of view, this is something that's existed since ancient times. So we kind of took his lead and we said, what can we make of this, at our restaurants, and use our platform to kind of further drive this message, drive this growth of health, or growth of nutritious options available at outlets like ours.
And some of these innovations and also these associations, how does that reflect overall McDonald's philosophy going forward in the India market?
So number one, we want to be accessible and relatable to our younger consumers, and a lot of these trends that we've spoken about matter to them.
Yeah.
And as a brand, we have to take them seriously because it's always about the customer, and we put the customer at the center of everything we do. So whether it's this health platform, which is one part of the wholesome, nutritious options that we provide, whether it's associations with brands or sports like Padel, right, which again allow the younger communities to get together as a community, to play sports, to stay fit, to perform better as they move forward in life, or whether it's our entire price product proposition, our value for money platform, which again is relatable to our customers because that's something that they consider, but at the same time, how do we make it exciting for them?
Yeah. Akshay, also interestingly, McDonald's is celebrating 30 years in India. And, McDonald's was our first introduction to QSR. So how do you look at its evolution in the India market? What have been like some of the highlights of, this journey, according
So
to
I
you?
think, very interestingly, we opened our 450th restaurant in the last quarter. And we're very proud about that because, we started with 0 restaurants back in 1996. And the journey has obviously been challenging, but very enjoyable. So now McDonald's has pretty much become a household name under Westlife Foodworld.
Yeah.
Number two, I think we've done a great job in providing value for money to our customers, the right products at the right prices. Even this whole millet association, the protein slice, we've housed it under, this platform called Real Food, Real Good, which allows us to provide these nutritious, wholesome options uh, to everyone, again, at a great price.
Yeah.
So, that's number two. And number three, I think we've been able to ride this whole digital wave very well. Even recently, we spoke about our McDelivery platform in our earnings presentation. And that's something that's very exciting and dear to me because that's kind of where I started my career in the business, the whole digital ecosystem and digital brand for our larger brand. But now it's a huge growth engine, and it's something that I'm personally and passionately driving. Again, because consumers are available on platforms like McDelivery, and this is something that they want. They want food available conveniently. They want it on digital platforms, and I think these are all the things that we've been able to do very successfully.
Yeah, and what does the innovation pipeline look like for McDonald's going forward? Is it across menus? Is it across formats or experiences? What are your big bets on going forward?
So we will continue to innovate. I think it's a great question because innovation is kind of the key, right, to staying relevant as a brand, as a company. And I think especially in a country like ours, innovation can never take the back seat. So we've always innovated, whether it's been on menu, whether it's been on digital, whether it's been even in terms of the format of our stores. So today we have almost 90% of our stores in this modern format. So maybe 5 years ago when you walked into a McDonald's versus today when you walk into a McDonald's, it's almost unrecognizable. And that's what, stands for successful innovation. So I think we're going to continue to innovate across these areas, whether it's menu, whether it's technology, whether it's even our physical restaurants. And I think, that's our entire commitment to our customers.
Yeah. And as you mentioned rightly, like 5 years ago, if you would walk into a McDonald's store, it looks much different as, if you walk into it now. There are more options. There is McCafe. The coffee is, very well accepted by the younger population. Now you're also introducing a 20-minute delivery via your app. So what are your expectations from the 20-minute delivery, and, what will it enable for Westlife Foodworld through McDonald's?
So, again, we need to stay relevant to consumers' needs. And one of the things we found out is fast delivery, fast, fulfillment, having a convenient technology platform to interact with the brand is very important. So, it's part of, you know, a lot of our growth work that we've been doing for the last few years. But this is a specific pilot that we called out because we've already started seeing encouraging results. And the whole endeavor is, again, to take advantage of the digital platform that we have and satisfy the customers' needs, give them what they want. And I think we're very, you know, fortunate that we have a system that can do this very well. And we're excited to share the results as they come, you know, out.
What is the difference that the consumer will experience, via ordering through your app as compared to, let's say, via Zomato or Swiggy for that matter?
So what we've also learned is that consumers love interacting directly with brands, right? While marketplaces have their place and provide variety and a great value proposition, I think our brand platform, Mick Delivery, also has a great brand proposition, which is that you can interact directly with the brand. You can, you know, customize your food. We have a lot of personalized offers, personalized customizations of how the screen looks like. You spoke about 20-minute delivery. Again, that's something that we can do very well versus other forms of fulfillment.
Sure.
And I think that that's what we want to deliver to the customers, which is great value through, you know, all the avenues of technology that we have available today.
And, finally, before we go, what is your vision for McDonald's going forward in the next few years? What are some of the changes? What are some of the things that you would personally like to see?
So my vision for Westlife Foodworld and McDonald's
Yeah.
is that, you know, we must maintain our position as a market leader in this ecosystem. We've done that for 25 plus years. So I think in the next decade also, we need to continue to do that by staying relevant to our customers. You know, so that's obviously an overarching statement, but that's the key part of my vision. I want to do it by ensuring that we innovate across menu, across technology, across our restaurant formats. And, you know, lastly, definitely, you know, become one of the leaders in terms of retail as well in the economy, you know, driving this whole growth agenda that the government has, this whole employment agenda that the government has. You know, there's no one, or there are few people who are as well placed as us to do this. So this is my vision, and I'm very excited to deliver it.
Yeah, and is it truly getting fitter? With, millet buns and protein slice and associations with various sports across different markets in India?
No, I definitely think so. I think that this association with these superfoods or these food trends, the reception that I've seen, I've never seen it before. And some of the initiatives and moves that we've made, they are quite unique. And, you know, they're kind of showing us as a first mover, in this space. I think this association is another very good opportunity. Obviously, there are multiple brands that associate with sport, but I think this is a unique sport that's growing very fast and relates to a very different audience. You know, while it consumes a larger audience, it also relates to them quite differently. And I think we have the opportunity to provide this at scale.
With that, it's a wrap on Storyboard this week. You can catch all of our content on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time next week. See you soon.